My sister's ex stole the only thing our grandmother left her. 6 years later, he slid a forged signature across my counter and asked me to make it official. I was 15 when Delia was 26 and 8 months into building the bakery she'd been sketching on napkins since middle school. Our grandmother Junie had raised us in a kitchen that smelled like burnt sugar and bleach, and when she died, she left Delia a recipe box, a stand mixer, and $11,000. Delia added 6 years of savings and every weekend of her life to that. Her boyfriend Marcus added a van and a lot of opinions. The name was never a question to her. Junie's. It was on the napkins. It was on the mock-up she taped to our fridge. Then Marcus's mother, Rosalie, decided the name should be hers. She said it in that light, joking way people use when they're not joking, that a bakery ought to sound elegant, that Junie's sounded like a truck stop, that Rosalie's had music in it. Delia said no, politely the first time, less politely the fourth. Marcus loved the idea, but he told her he understood, and he agreed to Junie's, and I watched my sister exhale like she'd won something. 3 weeks before the opening, she collapsed in the walk-in. The surgeons found a mass wrapped around her bile duct. It wasn't cancer, which everyone kept saying like it was a gift, but it took 9 hours and part of her pancreas to get it out, and it left her diabetic for the rest of her life. My sister spent her 20s learning to make brown butter caramel by feel and taste, and she came out of that hospital never able to eat her own work again. She can smell it. She can make it. She hands it across the counter to strangers. Marcus didn't sit with her before they wheeled her in. He said hospitals made him queasy. I was too young to be in pre-op, so I sat in the waiting room with my mom, while my brother Theo, 17 and desperate to be useful, went to check on him. He found Marcus in the corridor with a folder on his knees, filling out forms, calm as a man doing a crossword. Theo asked why he wasn't waiting for Delia to sign her own business paperwork. Marcus said he wanted her to rest. I know what you're thinking. She'd have to sign it herself. There'd be a paper trail. He forged her signature. He filed the LLC while she was unconscious on a table, with his parents listed as witnesses who watched her sign. They'd shown up 20 minutes earlier. She woke up from the surgery that ended her old life, and he told her the good news. The paperwork was done, the lease was signed, and the sign company had already cut the letters. Rosalie's. She left him. She couldn't prove the forgery, not against 2 witnesses, and the lawyer told her what it would cost to try. She lost the lease, most of the money, and about 2 years. Marcus disappeared completely, which we found strange until his wedding photos showed up in a mutual friend's tagged album 6 months later. He'd been seeing her since the spring Delia was in the hospital. Delia started over with a rented cart at a farmer's market. She was good. She got better. 6 years later, I was 21, working at a credit union, and I was the notary on duty. A woman came to my window with a folder and a nervous laugh. Business loan, second location, joint guarantor. She had a wedding ring and a voice that apologized before every sentence, and she said her husband was parking the car. I opened the folder and the guarantor line was already signed. I asked her, per the rules I had never once cared about until that moment, whether she had personally signed this document in front of me. She said, oh, he did all that at home. He handles the paperwork. I told her I couldn't notarize it, and I asked her to wait for me by the door. His name was on the top page. I already knew it would be. I took my break. I told Hannah everything in the parking lot with the engine of his car idling 40 feet away, and she stood there very still, holding her folder against her chest like it was cold. She asked me one question. The bakery is his mother's name, and I watched something in her face go quiet and final. She walked. She kept her money, which was most of the money. Rosalie's closed 14 months later. Last spring, my sister opened a real storefront with a real awning, and I drove down at 6 in the morning to watch them install the sign. Junie's, gold letters, hand-painted, on the second try because the first one wasn't right. Hannah came to the opening. She bought a box of the caramels my sister will never taste, and she left an obscene tip.